You're listening to the Small Business Talk podcast with Cathy Smith.
Small Business Talk is a podcast for business owners and entrepreneurs who want a better way to run their businesses without spending years doing it the hard way. Small Business Talk is hosted by Cathy Smith, who has run the same marketing agency for more than 17 years and helped hundreds of business owners achieve their marketing goals.
Welcome to Small Business Talk, episode 199. Today, my special guest is Jemimah Ashley from the Visibility Lab. Hey, Jemimah.
Hey, Cathy, how you doing? Thanks for 199. You're so close to 200. Are you excited?
I know, 200 next week. Can you believe it? I certainly did not think that far ahead when I started. My first aim was to hit 10 episodes, then 20, then 50. Suddenly we got to 100. And oh my golly gosh, now we're at 200. Well, we will be next week. So that's amazing. So thank you for being 199.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
And we have a great topic today, is how to get free PR for your business.
Yeah, I'm all about visibility. Let's do this.
Sounds good. So have you got some suggestions for us, Jemimah?
I do, Cathy. Interesting that you ask. Weirdly, like I've prepared something for you. So let's start at the very beginning. This is my favorite thing about visibility, is that you need to build, the first thing that you're going to do is build a personal brand that is not in alignment with just your business. Do you know how many people that I meet on a day-to-day basis that just have a business brand? And you forget that you are the entrepreneur. Let me give you an example. My name is Jemimah Ashley, and I'm the CEO of a company called the Visibility Lab. Do you know how difficult it is to hire the Visibility Lab to do a speaking engagement or to come and do a podcast? But it is very easy to get Jemimah Ashley to come and do those things. You need to separate these two out very, very clearly, and you need to present yourself forward. You cannot be just your business brand. You have to be the CEO, the founder, the business owner of your business for so many reasons.
That is so true. I've recently been coaching a guy that used to be a lawyer, and he's having a lot of problems with his identity because he no longer practices law, but he still sees himself as a lawyer, and his business was all built around being a lawyer, which he no longer does. So suddenly, not only do you lose your brand, but you lose your identity as well.
Yeah, it's big, and it's really big, and people don't realize how much we often put our business forward. We put our business to the front because it's easy to stand behind. But if you're trying to get visible, to get free PR, to get free visibility, there is no way that you can just put the business forward. Cathy, you'll know this. How many people sell their businesses? How many people move on and do other things? I've had 4 businesses since I started. I've sold 2 of them. We closed 1. I'm working on the 4th. But at the end of the day, my achievements that I had throughout those 3 businesses before this needed to be recorded somewhere. And I did that by building the Jemimah Ashley brand alongside with any business brand that I have. And I would argue pretty strongly that my personal brand is much stronger than my business brand.
Absolutely. And it's much easier for people to connect with a person than a business. So 100%. Having that personal brand means that if you do sell your businesses, or if you do then go back to being employed, you don't lose all that capital and collateral.
Yeah, 100%. So that's my first tip, is make sure that you've got a really strong personal brand alongside it. And, you know, we could do a whole podcast on just personal brand, which we can do later, maybe in the 250s. But this is the thing with that. Most people think it's just about like what colors you wear, this is about you turning up, which leads me into number 2. So number 2 tip, you need to build a strong personal network. High-level personal network. Cathy, I know that you know the answer to this, but if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Absolutely. What are you doing? You have to be in a room that are people that are smarter than you and have a high-level network of people around you that are willing to say your name, even if you're not in that room.
Yes. What do they say? Reputation is what people say about you when you're not there.
Have you ever heard someone say something about someone, you're like, if someone said that about me, I would rather die? That, be careful what they're saying, obviously, but also like your high level network should tell you. This is where things like networking, this is where networking comes into play. This is where You need to make sure that you're going to events. This is, and it's not always just in person as well. There are lots of online things that you can go and do. Be really careful about, the sum of five people is a very real phenomenon, and people don't, often business owners fail to recognize how vital that is while we're doing that come up, while we're doing the work in that room. You need to have people advocating for you at all times, and you need to be influenced by people who know more than you, who are going to push you harder, and are going to help you ultimately get visibility and create good relationships and good alliances.
Absolutely. And you forget that people forget you. If you're not there all the time, you're not top of mind. And suddenly they're asked about somebody in visibility, somebody looking for PR, a web designer or whatever, and they will say the first one that springs to mind. Then they go, oh, yeah, I should have recommended these other three people. But if you're not in their face, whether it be in person or online or just through your email database, they will forget you.
Yeah. So the psychology tells us it's 42 days for someone to actively put your name forward. 42 days. For those people who are like, I go to one networking group every 2 months. Too late. You need to go every month. You need to be in the rooms. You need to be during the network. So number 3, my favorite one, like really closely related. You'll see how these all follow on really nicely. Social media. Do you know how many people don't do social media well? Cathy, you got a question. How many times a day should I post on social media platforms? I have LinkedIn, I have Facebook, and I have Instagram. How many times should I be posting on that?
Well, you have to be active, obviously. And
absolutely.
It depends on your clients, but generally around about 3, because you're finding that not everybody's seeing that post, and it disappears very quickly.
Yeah, so we teach our clients to post on each platform once a day. And depending on what time of day, when you post, what the image is, you're looking at around 6% of your network actually seeing your social media posts. So people go, I can't do one a day. I'm going to annoy my network. Most of your network's not even going to see this, darling. No. Like, you just got to keep putting that out there. And the reason 6% is not a lot. No. One of the reasons that we push really hard for this is because it's also the number one place people go to now to look for you. From a visibility and PR perspective, if you're pitching for media, which we'll jump into in a second, if you're pitching for media, if you're pitching for podcasts, if you're pitching for these places, the first place people are going to go is your social media. How active are you? How many engagements do you have? I've built a fairly significant following of social media just by doing a lot of stories, a lot of video content, a lot of people getting to know me behind the scenes. Yes. That has been vital. Building my personal brand alongside with that network, as well as documenting that on social media, that has been absolutely pivotal for me building my business to where it is now.
Absolutely.
So social media, do it right.
Yeah. And stories are a great way to engage your audience too. So if you're not getting that engagement, the platform's not going to push you out. So making sure that you are replying to comments, you are actually interacting and not just submitting posts and never being there is vital.
Yeah, absolutely. That comment, that feedback, that thanks so much for the like, thanks for the follow. I've got a client at the moment who's trying something. Every time someone follows them, they send them a video. And like, hey, Cathy, thanks for following me. I really love that. Love what you're doing in your business. Looks like you make cool jewelry. Thanks. That's these videos that he's sending out, and he's getting really good engagement from it.
Yeah, because it's a bit different. It's not just getting in your DMs and saying, hey, buy my shit. It's actually getting there and making that personal connection.
Yeah. So the thing is also that we get wrong with social media, and this part's important. Don't post for the sake of posting. Have intention behind the post. So we always tell our clients to kind of break them up. So the first thing is make sure that it's expert positioning post, that you're putting stuff out there about you, that you're putting stuff out about your business, why you're an expert on what you do. Second thing I want you to look at is building your CRM. Get them off social media. You don't own it. We are very much walking towards very quickly a pay-to-play operational thing of social media. In the next 5 years, we'll be paying to play just in social media. So our attention is where the money is. The next thing is get them off that. It's important that you take the people off social media. You don't own Facebook. You don't own Instagram. At any point, it can go away. Be very mindful of that. Personal posts. You don't owe diary entries. This is like, here I am at the beach. Here's my favorite food. Do you know I have a cat? Do you know I have a dog? My favorite coffee is an iced latte. These things are important because people want to know, like, and trust you. This builds into the personal brand. And finally, make sure that you're really proving what you do. So this is testimonials. This is quotes. Break up your social media from the litany of trying to sell to people. That's the other way of getting really good visibility very quickly.
Absolutely. And I think that 5-year time frame is actually going to be much shorter than that, because we're already seeing a huge pay to play, and it will be even tighter than that coming forward. And especially now with AI as well, that's going to really feed into that and speed these things up.
Yeah, Meta Verified, I think, has become, where, like, not little money. For the first time, I think Twitter was $6 or something a month to be verified. You're now verified at $50 on Meta Australian, across Instagram and LinkedIn. Instagram and Facebook, sorry. The problem is with that is that that's a significant amount of money considering we paid nothing to begin with.
Yes, absolutely.
And it will continue to grow.
Indeed, it will, definitely. And you just don't know what the algorithms are going to do. We've seen very, very big businesses disappear overnight because they've built their whole entire business on social media platforms that have changed. I mean, look at MySpace. That was huge. And suddenly Facebook came about. And people say Facebook's going to be here forever. Well, people thought MySpace would be here forever as well.
Yeah, it's an extremely naive way moving forward. So get people off social media for the love of all things holy. Like, get your CRM built, get your lead magnets right. All right, it's my favorite one. Number 4, let's jump in. Free media and PR, my favorite thing. So, Cathy, and I'm gonna pretend like you don't know the answer to this one. If I live in Australia but I've got clients in the US, does it mean that I can't get featured in the US?
Well, I would say no, you definitely would be able to be featured in the US, because they love our accent. And this podcast is just a perfect example how our audience are from the US.
Along a big section of the work that we do is teaching people that we are on a 24-hour media cycle, that understanding that syndicated press versus independent, that you do one story in one magazine, it can be in 100 tomorrow. So media and PR, it is so easy to get seen in media and PR today. Like, I'm talking, Cathy, you want to be on TV today? We can make that happen. It's not that difficult. And this is what PR firms hate us, because we're like, oh, why don't you just do this yourself? Let us show you how to do it. This is what we teach every single day. So media and PR is an interesting one. So because we're in a 24-hour media cycle, because there are constantly journalists and people looking for you to come and talk to them, to be featured in print media, to go onto podcasts. Journalists are always looking for experts. And when I'm talking always, last week alone, we had about, I think it was something like 1,300 media opportunities. That was a pretty light week for us. Now, people want experts in everything: apples, lighting, water purification process. Bruce Springsteen was one I saw recently. There are a whole reason people want to talk to journalists, want to talk to experts. So whatever topic you're an expert in, someone wants to talk to you. Someone wants to run a story on that. Might not be every day, but there's someone out there. There are thousands of places you can get featured. Now, here are my favorites, because I always like to give away the farm. Here are the keys to the farm, if you will. The first one is Source Bottle, SOURCE bottle. That is predominantly Australian. We are seeing fairly significant leaps and bounds into the US market. We're also seeing a lot of bounds into Ireland, of all places.
Oh, okay.
So journalists are putting sources up. So you're a source for a journalist and putting up responses for that. There's a lot of tricks and hacks into doing that. We don't have time for that, but make sure that you're responding and us answering the question properly. The next one, if you're in America, the best one to look at is called HARO, Help a Reporter Out. Be prepared. It is what Australians refer to as a dog's breakfast. There is everything from Forbes magazine all the way through to Joe Blogg's podcast, who has one episode. So you are going to be going through quite a significant number. They send 3 emails a day. They're always quite meaty. It's a lot. So be prepared for that. And then finally, I would say the other one is like start to look for podcasts. If you're a fan of Cathy's podcast, you're listening to this episode and like, wow, Jemimah, really interesting. Cathy, are you ever looking for guests to come on your podcast?
Absolutely.
Reach out. It's really that simple. There's a real process on how to do that, and just not being like, I'm the best, interview me. Cathy, hey, I love your podcast. Love to have a chat with you. Let's collaborate. These things are important. And even just asking for simple collaboration can absolutely change to get free media today.
Perfect. I love those actionable, real tips, and that makes such a difference. Yeah,
literally my life is like, here's the keys to the castle. Would you guys want them? And people are like, oh, it seems too good to be true. I'm like, no, we're a done with you PR firm. I'm going to show you how to do it. And it bewilders me about the amount of people who are like, this is a lot easier. So if you're paying for PR now, let's have a chat, because you are effectively handing someone else an admin task we can teach a VA in 3 months. Like, it is not, there is no reason on any logical way that I should be a TV expert and been featured 400 times. None. 0 out of 10. Yet here we are. So let's do this.
If Jemimah can do it, you can do it.
Oh my, yeah. You know, people are like, I can't do that. No, you can. It's literally, my favorite thing, Cathy, and you know this about me, is hackable ways of doing stuff. We have busy lives. All businesses are busy. No one's saying that you're not. However, what if we can make a streamlined process that makes things a lot easier to do as quickly as possible at any given time? That is effectively the business I created. Like, let's hack this and make it as easy as possible. Finally, number 5, my favorite tip of all, and anyone that knows me knows I talk about this all the time, awards. Do you know how easy it is to get free PR for awards?
You've got to apply.
Got to apply. In 2019, the biggest award in Australia is the Australian Small Business Champion. They had 32 applications per category. Last year, they had over 1,000. The word is out. I have ruined this. I'm sure a big part of it is me just talking about awards for the last 4 years. Here's the problem. Got to be in it to win it.
Yep.
Why did someone else win that award? Your competitor. Why did they win the award? They entered.
I entered.
You didn't. There are admin fees that go into awards. Awards are a business. I'll give you a whole video on that too. Awards are a business. But ultimately, they're also a really good auditing tool. What are you doing well? What are you crushing right now? What are you absolutely killing? Also, there is something really powerful about your name being read in a room of 1,000 people. True story. That happened to me 2 nights back to back. Pretty incredible. 2,000 people heard my name. Jemimah Ashley, Female Entrepreneur of the Year, Visibility Lab. Like, oh my gosh. The video recordings of that were incredible. It's very important that you understand that these things are not accidental, particularly awards. Very, very intentional. We'll have this year 400 different awards open. So buckle in.
And then making sure you are leveraging that when you do become a finalist, and then
yeah. Well, you won't win. With always tell clients, you're not going to win. Some of them do, but you're not going to win. The odds are not in your favor, but you want to just be a finalist. That's all we want from you.
Yeah. And then you've got that ability to leverage that as well.
So simple. Award, you know, she's an award-winning entrepreneur. She's been a finalist for the Australian Small Business Champion. She's been a finalist for Women to Watch for 2023. These titles, when they're read out, people are like, wow, that's a big deal. They don't even have to know the context of where that's come from. That's a really big statement. You see people in the Forbes, the Australian Financial Review women's, nomination for women's, even the nomination, people are like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. True, it is. It's amazing when people do things like that. Yeah. It is absolutely vital.
And a lot of those you can self-nominate. So
yes, you can.
Not only is it a good auditing tool, but it's the perfect way to leverage that PR.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So Cathy, that rounds up my big 5 tips for free PR. So the first one is build a strong personal brand. Number 2, get around good people, get around really good people, for visibility's sake, absolutely get in the right rooms, go to networking events, join online communities, join in-person communities. If you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Number 3, get social media right. Make sure that you're not just selling to people on every single post. For the love of all things holy, please don't do that. Very importantly, you educate, create a community, inform, connect. Number 4, start pitching yourself to media. There are hundreds upon hundreds of websites and thousands of opportunities per day that are coming out. So absolutely pitch for those. And number 5, make sure that you're pitching for awards. Apply for them. They're so simple to apply for. The great thing about awards, just before I wrap this one up, because that's the other thing I'm going to tell you, is that there's only so many ways. All of the awards ask largely the same question. So if you did, I don't know, one really good application and you just repurpose that to high heaven, again, life hack. There's only so many ways people can ask you. So why did you start your business? How are you marketing your business? All awards ask the same questions. Your job is to just tell them again exactly why.
Perfect. And you might be lucky enough to be in a category where there's not so many people have nominated, and you might just get that winning award as well.
Yeah, I've taken a few home. We like to set low expectations of people. You're not going to win. And then when you do win, everyone loses their mind. You don't, you might win. I've taken a few home. A lot of our clients take home awards. We're very excited about them. But, finalist reads just as well. The psychology tells us that finalist reads just as well as winning.
Fantastic. So that are some really great tips. So Jemimah, if people would like to know more about you and how to find you, where do they go?
All of the socials. You can also find me at jemimahashley.com. Go and check the show notes. There's tons of information about me. Very, very searchable on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and a terrible TikTok. So enjoy that.
All right. So at this stage of the podcast, I get to ask you 5 questions. Are you game?
Let's go. I'm ready.
What's the best advice given to you by a mentor?
Don't believe you're in bullshit. I had a really good story written about me and I was like, oh, I feel like I've made it. He's like, you've not made it, kid. You had one good story. Don't believe you're in bullshit.
Beautiful. What's the biggest help you've received since starting your business?
Biggest help I've received? Goodness. There's too many to name. My network is incredible. Who have opened doors and introduced me to people and being able to lift me when I couldn't do it myself. There are times where, the day that you declare that you're working at Coles Supermarket, I've had people that have pulled me up and been like, I don't know. So too many to name for that. People are always helping. It's the incredible thing in opening doors, but that just talks to my high level network. There's too many people to name here. And too many people will hate me if I don't name them. So all of you have been incredible. My Summerfly people are the best.
What's the one thing that you have to do every day, you're non-negotiable?
I have a very, very strict morning routine. I also will go to the gym every single day, even if I'm only there for an hour, half an hour, 20 minutes. It is that movement of body, getting connected back in with myself. I have about 20 videos that I watch every single day. They are mindset / motivational ones. And I also meditate, I would say every day, but it's probably every other day this week, just for some other conflicting stuff. And it's just to check in to make sure I'm on the right path. It is very easy in this job to get caught into the doing and not working on the business and where it's going.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people fall into that trap of doing the doing, not the working on.
It is very intentional. I have allocated CEO time on Monday, and that's where I will just check in with those. So am I becoming the best version of myself? The personal development for me is important.
Fantastic. That leads perfectly into our next question. What is your favorite business book and why?
Atomic Habits. There is no other book as far as I'm concerned to this stuff. Atomic Habits, James Clear. If you haven't read it, basically it discusses the concept of the transformation is not a future event. It is a current day activity. We wait till this is why I go to the gym every day, despite not wanting to go. And some days, literally just walking on a treadmill, it's the activity rather than the result. The best way to explain it is, Cathy, have you or your children ever had braces? Stay with me here. I promise I'm making a point.
My son has, yes, indeed.
Great. So I got Invisalign during the lockdowns of Melbourne, and I got Invisalign put on, and the doctor said it's going to be 0.1 mil at a time. And over the course of 2 years, every single day, my teeth are now my favorite thing. I have the best teeth I've ever had in my entire life. I'm so in love with them. But it was this tiny little painstaking activity of every day doing this very boring thing. It is the same as brushing your teeth. It is the same as doing 10 push-ups. 10 push-ups mean nothing. But if you do that every single day for 365 days, suddenly you've done close to 4,000 push-ups over the course of the year. These tiny little nonsensical things. It's not one burger that's the problem. It's the 365 burgers because you had one every day for lunch. It's not the one Coke. It's the fact that you had that every single day with dinner for 365 days. It's that, it's these tiny little things that we do on repeat. It's the things we tell ourselves, the tiny little things that absolutely get us. I could talk forever about this book. And if 1% better is a 26% increase of whatever you're doing over the next 12 months, and you don't have to do, even if you miss one day brushing your teeth, so be it. It's fine. Pick up again the next day. But if you skip an entire year, we have a totally different problem.
Absolutely. And I think that's sometimes where people get a bit unstuck because they've got this new habit. They've stopped it for a day or two. They suddenly think, oh, well, why pick it up because I can't do it? No, stop, restart, off you go again. And our last question is, what do you wish you had known when you started your business?
I wish I had known to trust my gut more. I wish I had known that I knew what I was doing, even if it didn't make sense, even if I couldn't verbalize it. And I left an extremely lucrative career in law enforcement. I left a 6-figure salary. I was doing really well in government. I was climbing the corporate ladder, and I stopped and made a jewelry business. And understandably, people were genuinely worried about me because I just went from this very high-powered, professional, amazing career to being like, I think I'm going to start an art and craft business, to the point my dad said to me, are you okay? Do we want to get a doctor involved? Do we want to go and see someone? And very good intention, right? Like, there's no bad intentions. There's no ill to him at all here. I just knew better, and I didn't know what that was going to be. And I'm grateful for people that tried to be like, explain this to me, like trying to help me. But my time was, I spent a lot of the first 6 to 12 months justifying my life choices. My time would have been better spent doing the thing rather than justifying the thing now.
Perfect. And that's a great way to end our podcast. You know, you should know, and make sure the rest of the world knows.
Please do, because no one's coming to advocate for you. It's just you guys. And you have to tell people how great you are. Remind them again just who you are.
Fantastic. So thank you so much, Jemimah. And as you said, all the links will be in the show notes. So episode 199, I can't believe we've made it. 200 next week.
I can, Kath. You've done great.
Thank you. And it's been having wonderful guests like you and then doing the thought leader piece in the middle. That is why it's all here. And it's exactly what you said. It's one step at a time and making sure that you are consistent.
Thanks, Cathy. Hopefully everyone's got something really valuable out of today. And thank you for amazing 199. Well done. I can't wait to listen to this and to 200 as well.
Thanks so much, Jemimah. And SBT audience, remember, enjoy your journey. Don't forget to subscribe to Small Business Talk podcast and head on over to smallbusinesstalk.com.au. Remember, to be great, you must start. Pick one tip from today's episode, take action and implement it. Let's meet again next week at the same time and place. Until then, take action. And SBT community, enjoy your journey.